stuff's in between the lines.
Here we are, day 2 of Belladrum with Roseanne Reid. You're just off grassroots stage.
That's correct, yeah.
How did that feel for you?
It felt fantastic. It just felt really relaxed, and I think that's part of the nice thing with the setup here at Belladrum. The way the tents are, people can just kind of drift in and out, and people are passing through, and it made for a really chilled out set. So lovely crowd, lovely location, yeah.
You looked like you were really enjoying it, and you kept bursting into smile, and the songs from you seem very relaxed. Have you played here before, or is this a new venue for you?
This is entirely new, so I've heard of Belladrum, and I've had a few friends that played it before, but I've never played it, never been here either, so it's lovely to be here, period. It's great.
You were raised in Edinburgh. I think you're now based in Dundee.
That's correct.
And from what I understand, you got into mostly country initially, presumably through family.
Yes, absolutely.
That obsession.
Yeah.
But now you seem to be experimenting somewhat with sort of more folk stuff as well.
Yeah. I mean, my parents have a massive country music vinyl collection. So a lot of Merle Haggard, Patsy Cline, Willie Nelson, and I grew up sort of steeped in that side of things, which I loved. But then as I got older and I sort of gravitated towards more kind of Bob Dylan, Peter Paul and Mary, Joan Baez, those sorts of names. And I think you can probably hear a bigger folk influence in how I play, particularly the finger picking than country.
What I liked about your playing was that it's just so, I hesitate to use the word graceful, it's like elegant.
Oh, thank you.
And you just strumming away as if you didn't have a care in the world. But the songs were stories, they were heart tuggers, they were memory thinkers, they were all that good stuff. Is that just in the covers you do, or is this how you like your style to be? You try and make everything about a thing?
Definitely. I think everyone's different. I think when it comes to songwriting, I don't really get the point in doing it unless you are being honest, unless you are sort of not necessarily documenting your whole life, but you let your life feed into your songs, it's your lyrics. That's how I've always done it, and it's for me as much as anyone else, because I find it so cathartic to do it that way, So, yeah, all my songs are stories, my songs are sort of flags at certain points in my life, and it's nice to look back at them. You sing them differently as you get older, but I enjoy doing that.
I don't want to trigger anything, but on stage, you talked about being honest. You're going through a challenging time just now, and you shared that with the audience. You said, "Here's a song I wrote about it." Is that something you can see in the music you listened to growing up, and as you've evolved, and that inspired you, or did you just thought, I just want to do it?
It's definitely influenced by the people I listen to and the way they do it, and I think it's, country music can be so vulnerable. Country music can really tug at the heartstrings. They're all story songs, really. But I think in a more recent context, songwriters like Jason Isbell, Randy Carlile, just heart on the sleeve songwriters, where I'm going, they're not holding anything back here. This is just, they felt something and they've put pen to paper quite quickly, and they've just gone with it. So that's the way I try to do it as well.
Have you been in America yourself and studied sort of songwriting there?
I have. I've not studied it. I've not actually spent much time in the States. So I've done a couple of shows in New York, and then I've done a couple of shows in Nashville as well. But I'd love to get out more and do a proper tour. It's hard to get a foot in the door, but it's just, and be surrounded by the sort of songs I love.
And you referenced your album there, Trails?
Yes.
And how did that come about?
Well, I wasn't really planning on recording an album, to be honest. I was just doing the odd show, and then I got a tour supporting Teddy Thompson. And he came up to me on the last night of the tour and he said, "Look, if you want to put these songs together into records, then I'd want to produce it, And I genuinely thought hadn't even occurred to me until then. So I've had a few years worth of songs there, and I thought, well, it would make sense to sort of get them done properly and do them justice. And Teddy did that. He really did.
What's on the agenda now? What's coming up for you?
Well, a new album. A new album would be the way to go. I'm hoping, because the songs are starting to come now. My ideal scenario would be to get in the studio at the end of the year and to get the album out early next year. So a new record is the next big project.
What sort of style do you think it'd be? Will it be sort of true to country? We could see a little evolution here.
I think we might see the evolution. Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of lyrics, it's going to be the heartbreak album, you know, unfortunately. But I think in terms of production and other things like that, yeah, might see a bit of a shift.
So the podcast that we do is generally about people who are in the music industry, the challenges and adventures they've been on, in order to give back to those who are just starting out as well. From your own experience, obviously you come from a musical family. If people don't know the Proclaimers, your dad's one of them. So you've been immersed in that as a kid. You've seen how it's gone on. But as your own artist, as your own songwriter and musician, what have you learned along the way, or what advice have you been given along the way that you think other people would do well to think about?
Well, I think honestly, the biggest thing, and you'll hear this a lot, I think particularly in songwriting, is be your authentic self. So be as honest as you can, because that's all you've got, and that's what people want to hear. So even if you're thinking commercially, or you're going, there's not a market for this. Absolutely, if you feel it, someone else will feel it, So I think authenticity is key. I think keeping your head down and just working hard and getting as many gigs as you can, whether that's sort of grassroots level, at local level, just even bike night scene, just get started, get familiar with it, and keep doing it. I tend to find if I step away from gigs for a few months, the first one back is really quite difficult. Just keep doing it, even if it's just one gig every couple of months. And I think in terms of if you want to do sort of songwriter route, just keep writing as often as you can. I'm not one of these. I'm not disciplined with it at all. I'm not one of these people that sits down once a week and goes, okay, even if I just get immersed today, let's just try and do something. But I would say, carry a wee notepad around with you, or just on your phone, and when you get an idea, write it down, because you'll come back to it. So just keep at it as well. I mean, it's a tough industry, it's really hard, no matter what you're doing, but if you keep at it, you're in as good a chance as anyone.
What's your favourite part of doing all this?
I think it's meeting people. I think it's connecting with people, because I think again, it comes back to the way I write. It's very honest, it's vulnerable, and I go, it's really nice to go, I know I'm not alone in feeling that, I'm feeling that, it's really good. And they say, God, I could relate to that made me think of this person. And it's just lovely to have that moment of connection. I think that's my favourite part. Whether it's a big show like this, or, as I say, a bike night, it's just nice to meet people.
And it's good to hear in the background lots of laughter as well, lots of smiles all around. So, from where you began to where you are now, what has been the good stuff in between?
I'd say getting the albums out there has been a real high point, because that's something I never really thought I would do, actually release records. So that's been lovely. I'd say getting songs featured in a couple of documentaries, a couple of films has been great as well. But honestly, touring has probably been my favourite part. Getting to support acts like Steve Earle. I've got to support Jason Isbell in a couple of shows as well at the start of the year. That's incredible, So to share a stage with acts at any level is an honour. But if you're lucky enough to kind of work your way up and get these bigger gigs, it's so much fun.
And just before I let you go, who should people be listening to right now?
I think a lot of people in the Americana field will already have heard of them. Tyler Childers, fantastic singer-songwriter. I would say Coulter Waller as well. I think he's from some really remote area in America, Canada. He's fantastic, got a big, deep bass voice, and you'd never think it from looking at him, but superb singer. Brandy Carlisle, I think, is just so consistent, phenomenal singer-songwriter. And I would say, on a more sort of in the more Scottish scene, I always love Rory Butler. People can find his stuff. I think he's got at least one album out as well. He's an occasion. Sort of John Martin kind of sound. He's phenomenal.
And what about you? What's next? You any live dates? And where can folk find your music?
Do you know, I've not got any more live dates in the diary as of now. They will come up, but if people check out the website, roseannereid.com, you'll find all the dates there. I'm on all your socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter as well, and I update them fairly regularly. Not as regularly as I should, but I'm there as well.
Well, I came along today and not know what to expect. It was a complete joy, so thank you very
Oh,
much.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. Thank you. All right.
The good stuff's in between the lines.